Hello everybody, welcome to welcome to a very rainy Demeth. As always, AVP is always rainy, yeah, welcome to my latest video. This is my video on life taps and backstabs. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. It's my favourite game, EverQuest player from many years ago, and I've been waiting for something like this to get my teeth into, and it is out and I'm absolutely loving it. And my three favourite classes in the game are my rogue, which is Sarlor here. I have a necromancer, Diabolu, and I have a dire lord called Malleus. And yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with these. So what I promised in my last video on the patch notes is I promised I would do a macro video, which is what we're going to do today. So we're going to go through, it's going to be very simple. We're going to get kind of like an intro, sort of an intro, just explain some of the things that you can do, and then just leave you like a few little threads so that you can go and experience, investigate and explore in your own time as well, because after all, that is what Pantheon is about: going and exploring, finding cool things like the goblin temples in Wild's End, if you watched that video from a few days ago as well. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into macros. What are macros? Well, if you open up your Pantheon button up at the top here, you've got all these settings. The macro button here is just this little scroll, and if you click it, you will see a macro window come up. I get a lot of stick from my friends just because I have so many macros, there's things here. So I've got a mes macro here, which tells my party that I've mesmerized something as my rogue. I've also got a necro mes one, which says that I've mesmerized something on my necro. I like the flavor text, so shoot me. I just like all the a so and so is mesmerized by my crippling terror. He won't hit anything for a while. Things like that. So I like doing things like that. Anyway, the first two macros that everybody needs to have is an ink and a assist button. So an ink is an incoming message. So if you press that button and I'm in a party, it will tell my party that I've got a mob incoming, or I've got an ad and it's hitting me, and I need to bring it to the group and help them kill it before it kills me or whatever. So an incoming and an assist key. Now, the incoming message is really simple. So what you will do, in fact, let's just open this up like this. So what will happen is that when you open up your macros, it will be completely empty. It won't have all these macros like mine. It'll be completely empty, and it'll just have this little plus sign. If you press the plus sign, it will open up this new macro here. And then what you can do is type in here what you want to call the macro. So you could call it Hello World, although I can't type. It could call it Hello World, and then whatever you put in here is what the macro will do once you press the button. So for instance, for Hello World, you could do /OOC Hello World, and then that will tell the out of character chat Hello World in that. So what we want for the incoming one, let's get rid of that one actually. Oops, remove that one. There we go. What we want for the incoming one is we want to tell the party, so /party incoming %T, and then ready your blades if you want to have like some kind of flavor. Now the %T is your target window. So here's your target here. This is your offensive target. %T will return black bear, incoming black bear, ready your blades. That's what it will tell your party. I can't do it now because obviously my face cam is overlapping my my chat window. But I promise that's what it will do. So that's the first very simple one. You want to do an incoming message. If you've never done MMOs or anything like that before, communication is really important. So telling your party that you have a mob coming in, or that you've got a mob added or something, or it's aggroed you as you're running, just click on that button and it will tell your party that you've got something coming in. Just be ready. Then we need an assist button. Now the assist button is also really important if you are like a DPS class. Something like a rogue, well, not particularly a rogue, like a rogue. I won't get into the rogue with assisting, but things like a wizard or any kind of other DPS, or just anybody else in the group, you need to be able to know what the main tank in the group is hitting. So you set up an assist key here. Now there's a few different ways you can do this. you can just type /assist. You can also type /assist and then the tank's name, so the main tank's name, and then it will always assist that tank, so you don't have to have your tank selected. And then another thing that you can do in here is you can do /party and tell your party that I am assisting your percentage defensive target. Now your defensive target, I don't know whether there's anybody around that I can see. No, there's not. Your defensive target is the target up here that you have if you click on one of your party members. So you have your offensive target, which is at the moment, oh, there we go. So if we can click malaria there, and then we click a roan wolf. So this here is our defensive target, and this is our offensive target. So this macro now will assist Malleus. Malleus is my Dire Lord, and then it will tell my party that I'm assisting my defensive target, which is malaria. So as long as I have my defensive target as Malleus, it will do that. Now you could also, if you didn't want to do the DT there, you could always do that, and then it will tell your party. But ultimately, assist keys are really, really important, just to make sure that when you've got two mobs coming in, you are hitting the right mob, you're not breaking mezzas and things like that. So really, really important key. Now, this is where we get to some fun stuff. Now, we've got some reactive ones here. So we've got root and snare. So the snare one will tell my party that 1,000,000 tiny caltrops have snared the mobs by 50%. Now this is if I drop my caltrops down, which I haven't currently got memmed because I've been doing something else recently. Caltrops, there we go. So if I drop the caltrops down around a mob, and I want to let everybody know that it's okay, the mob's not going to run very far, or it's not going to run very fast, I have snared it, then I can click that. These are what I call reactive macros. So once you've dropped your caltrops, the mob might resist the caltrops, so then you'd have to cast it again, and then once the mob has once it's landed on the mob, then I can click snare and say and let the party know that it's been snared. Same with the root as well. So the root one I've got is /party root of the add on the pull. So occasionally when we have two mobs coming in, as a rogue, I am very often stealthed when the mob comes in. Well, pretty much always stealth when the mob comes in. And then what I can do is, there we go. What I can do when the mob comes in, if there are two, then I can drop a spring wire trap. I can drop a trap down in front of one of the mobs, and then this trap will root one of them, and then I can let the party know that I've rooted one of the ads coming in. To let them know that there is an ad. So once we've killed one, then we have to look for the second one, and also just to let them know that it's time to assist on the main tank, and don't hit that mob, because as soon as you hit that mob, it breaks the root. And then you'll notice on this macro here, I've got /party, which tells the party, and then I've also got /say. Now I put the /say in there so that I have a chat bubble that pops up on my above my head saying rooted the ad on the pull. Occasionally when mobs are being pulled, you're not the groups aren't necessarily watching the chat window, so I have a /say so that it comes up above my head, and I'm just letting everybody know that I've rooted the ad on the pull. Right, now we can get onto some fun ones. You can put as many lines as you want in these macros, which is really, really fun, and that means that we can do some really, really funky stuff. Now, if we wanted to cast any of these things here, we have our techniques here, we've got our utilities here, and then we have the abilities all the way down here. So let's just close that down. If we wanted to say cast corrosive brew, then we would have to know what the macro command was to cast the number 4. Or the techniques up here, or the utilities up here. So if you just want to use an ability, so something from the main bar, if we look at backstab here, it's just /use. Now I always have my backstab on the first button here, so /use1 will use 1 here, and it will use backstab, and you can do that all the way up to 8. Now this one here is Q. That is still 8. It's my 8th ability, so it's still use 8. It's not use Q. That's a key bind which I've changed. So if we wanted to use anything down there, we can just hit /use and then the number of the ability. Now if we want to use a technique, so one of these 4 techniques up here, then it will be /technique and then 4. And then on the expose as well, I always put my expose in the 4th slot here, the 4th slot, because these 3 slots tend to be in my rotation, and then that 4th slot there will be exposed. So drop that out and put expose in there. There we go. So I will be casting expose, and then I will tell the party that the mob has been exposed. So I've exposed %T again. Remember, that's where we have the target name put up in chat. So I have exposed a black bear's armor for you. Take advantage. So then that just lets my party know that they can then go in and they can close the exposed state and maybe slow the mob or drop its resistances or take its armor down or something like that. If we want to do a utility over here, we can do /utility. Now this is a fun one. I've done this one specially for you all. So this is /utility 1. So that will then cast or use this ability here. So the utility across here. Again, if you want to use the 6th one, then just put /utility 6. If you want to use ambidextrous, which is in slot 5, just use /agility 5, utility 5, and then that will play that off. Now, what you can do with all of these, there is a /wait command as well. So what you can do is I can line up and queue up an absolute ton of abilities. So what I've got here is in Sinister Strikes, I will press this button and it will use utility 1. So it will use Sinister Strikes. Then I've told it to wait for 4 seconds. So it counts for 4 seconds. And when I'm using Sinister Strikes, it takes all my opportunity here and turns it into a damage buff, basically. But it removes all of that opportunity. Now, opportunity for a rogue is really important in a fight. So I'm waiting for 4 seconds to get some opportunity back before I then go into the next bit. So the next bit is that I will use 1. So using 1 is an ability down here. So it will then use backstab. So it will then backstab the mob. It then waits 1.1 seconds. Why does it wait 1.1 seconds? Well, the global cooldown is 1 second. And I always put, I tend to put like a 0.1 at the end just to hit any kind of server lag or anything like that. So I'll wait 1.1 and then I will use technique 3. So technique 3 in here is Lucky Strike. So this is the debuff. Use 1. There we go. It's use 4. I thought there was one missing. I was like, I don't do that one first. I use Corrosive Brew. It's because I scrolled down rather than rolled it down. So I've got utility 1. Wait for 4 seconds and then use 1, which is my backstab, and then I wait 1.1 seconds and then I will use 4. So that's Corrosive Brew. So the first thing I really want to be doing in a fight is debuffing the mob. Now we'll go into that in another group, in another kind of group video, but we're then using 4. We are then again waiting 1.1 seconds, and then we are using technique 3, which will be whatever item I have in here. It's usually going to be Lucky Strike, so that I can debuff the mob even further. So in this case, because I've got a piercing weapon in my hand, it will pierce armor, and then it will reduce the armor class as long as somebody has dropped the opening gap on the mob. Which by the time the fight has started, we are a good 5 seconds into the fight, so we should have opening gap on the mob. So that will then use technique 3, and then we will wait for 1 second, and then we will use 3. Now using 3. Is Blackjack Kick here. So Blackjack Kick then returns some opportunity. So now I'm back up to opportunity. I've hopefully got lots of readiness. I've got 2 opportunity, and at that point I can then kind of go in and adjust and use some of my other abilities. So for instance, I might go in with Bloodletter. I might go in with Deceptive Strike as well, which will create another light bleed. If I'm fighting with a Dire Lord in my group, then I want to try and get a bleed on as early as I can because it increases their healing and things like that. So I don't try to queue up too much, because there are things in here. For instance, if my Blackjack Kick missed here, so if I used 3 down at the bottom and my Blackjack Kick missed, and then after use 3 I was trying to put Bloodletter on, and Bloodletter uses opportunity, Blackjack Kick gives me opportunity if it lands. Now if it misses, then the Bloodletter won't go off. So I try not to do too much. I mean, you can just do the entire thing. You can do the entire fight if you wanted to, and just keep pressing your rotation, or you could put your favorite rotation in a macro and just press that favorite rotation. It will go through that rotation. Now, like I say, just beware. You might get resists, or you might, if you're a melee character, you might miss, and then that might mess up the rotation. So just be aware of that. I try to, on mine here, I try to not have anything which is particularly dependent on something that's happened before, apart from obviously using my debuffs. So that is the really funky kind of way that we can use macros. Just putting that weight 4, so you need to always put at least a weight 1 between your uses. There are some which you can kind of get away with, which do different things, which aren't on a global cooldown. For instance, there are some what's it called, Blood Fiend for the Dire Lord will always be up even when you've got a global cooldown going, and the same with Vital Cage on the Dire Lord. That is always available to be pressed regardless of whether global cooldown is going. So you can just keep in mind and bear in mind what's happening on your global cooldowns, and then you'll have an idea. So if we just go here and we'll have a quick look. We'll go round to the back of this young black bear here. We've got full opportunity, we're in stealth, so I'm now going to hit Sinister Strikes. It will click this, it will take all my opportunity off, it will give me a Sinister Strikes buff up here, and then we will see what happens. So, Sinister Strikes has gone off, we're going to wait for 4 seconds, and then it's going to go ding, 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 and it's going to do all that damage, all those things. And if we check out here, make sure we've got Self on. Thicket Stalker, here we go. So we pressed our Sinister Strikes. Remember, the first thing that happens on Sinister Strikes is it uses Sinister Strikes. It then waits for 4 seconds, then it uses 1, waits for 1 second, it then uses 4, which is Corrosive Brew to debuff. It then waits for 1 second, it uses Technique 3, it waits for a second, and then it uses 3, which is our Blackjack Kick. So you'll notice here we've done 136 with our backstab, we've done 12 with an auto attack, we've done 6 with an auto attack, there we go, and then we've done another auto attack as well. The range was too far for our Blackjack Kick, but it went through, and it went through all this macros straight away. And yeah, there we go. Really quick. I just thought it would be a really fun thing to do. I'm going to add one last little bit onto the end of this. If you want to do some pet ones, your pet, hang on, where is it? I thought I'd put these in. I haven't put these in. Oh, there we go, yeah, /pet attack. And then the pet stay is /pet back off. It's all one word. They are the two that I've set up here, just in case you want to do a necromancer or a summoner, for instance. The pet attack and the pet back off, just making sure that you've got control of the pet at any time as well. And then the other one, which is quite interesting for a rogue, is /drag corpse. So you can go up to a corpse and you can just click that rather than having to type it in every time. Is there anything else on here? The magic debuff is, again, it's just a reactive one. Once I've landed all the magic debuffs, or I've landed the AC debuffs, then I can just press that button and let people know that I've maybe that I've dropped all the magic debuffs I can on the mob, and now the wizards are free to nuke or whatever. So there we go. The synergies that you can get with this, just as a sort of an outro. If you think about this Sinister Strikes one that we've had set up here, where we are doing one utility, we're waiting, we're doing another utility, we're waiting, we're doing another utility, and we're waiting. I'm not gonna kind of go really deep into it, but if you had two people in a group who had the macros set up to the first thing I'm going to do is debuff using this. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to opening gap for you. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close the exposed state that you've just put on. So you've got two people maybe doing two macros which synergize with each other. This guy's opening gap, this guy's opening expose, and then we're closing the expose and closing the opening gap. If we've got that if we've got that synergized, and maybe we're in a voice chat and we can say 3, 2, 1, go, click, and then you both click and you do a whole lot of macros just to debuff straight away. That's going to be really efficient form of damage and increasing your damage throughout the fight. And that's taking it to like another level, if you like. Yeah, that is just a really quick. So I do, as I promised, I just thought I would do a really quick talk about all the macros, some of the things that you can do. If you have any other little kind of sneaky commands like this /pet back off, or any other commands which you think will be useful, please drop them down in the comments below so that we can share all the macro commands. And if you have your favorite macro command, drop that down in the comments as well. I want to know what everybody's favorite command is. Now, even though the patch notes have put a wooden torch and I've got a torch slot, I'm still reluctant to wear it. Although I did hear on Joppa's stream the other day that he has limited how big of a range this actually is on the light source. So that's actually quite cool. I thought I was going to be really excited. I'm going off on a tangent now. I thought I was going to be really excited by this and just be like really thankful, because the amount of times I'm running around and it's pitch black and I can't do anything, or I'm trying to explore, or I'm trying to get somewhere, and it's really frustrating. But now it's just like an auto click and it's always on, and there's no like downside to having all these things. I'm not sure I like it. So anyway, Joppa has said on his stream that he is going to just lessen the effect of this torch, because after all it is a simple wooden torch, so it's the first torch you get. So videos I've got coming up, I'm going to do a rogue feedback video. Really good fun, the rogue. I'm absolutely loving it. I'm going to do a rogue feedback video. I'm going to do a roles in groups, so how to play, well, not particularly how to play, but some tips to play in a group, what some of the classes should be thinking of doing first when the mob comes in, what are you trying to do first. And that's going to have a little bit of a particular kind of rogue focus on it, because I'm a rogue or a necromancer or a dire lord, one of those three. And then I want to do a top 10 things that I would like them to change. So we're going to try and get that video out as well. And if there's any other videos that you would like to see me do, maybe you want to see me soloing as a rogue as level 21. I'm very nearly 22. So if you want to see me do that, that would be really cool. I've got my. So these are the daggers which I walk around with. They're oiled metal knives. They just remind me of the Ragebringer EverQuest rogue epic. So I just think they look really cool. So thank you very much, whoever on the Visionary Realms team thought that they would make these daggers look like this, then thank you very much. But I have got, where are they? I have got, there we go. I have got a big spear, and I've also got a little knife as well. So we've got some cool stuff to talk about in terms of rogue weapons and things. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope that was helpful. I hope it was useful. I have waffled for way too long now on not the topic of macros, so I'm going to stop there. If you've got more macros than me, send me a picture, and I will catch you as always another time in Terminus. Take care, and I will see you all later. If you could drop, just before we go, if you could drop a subscribe in, that would be amazing as well. I need to get to 500 subscribers as soon as possible, so thank you very much. Take care, everybody. See you later, and have a good weekend. Bye.